Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devang Saraswating Vyasam Tato Jayam Udvirayet Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Where are we? 9:21:16. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 21, the Dynasty of Bharat, texts 1 through 6. 6 is on the board. So I'll read the first few verses and then we'll chant together this one. Shri Shuka Uvacha Vitathasya Sutan Manyor Brihat Kshatro Jayastata Mahaviryo Naro Garga Sankritistu Nara Majaham. Shukadev Goswami said, because Bharadwaj was delivered by the Marut demigods, he was known as Vitatha. The son of Vitatha was Manyu, and from Manyu came 5 sons, Brihat Kshatra, Jaya, Mahavirya, Nara, and Garga. Of these 5, the one known as Nara had a son named Sankriti. Guruscha Ranti Devascha Sankrite Pandunandanam Ranti Devasya Mahimam Eha Mutrascha Giyate. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of Pandu, Sankriti had 2 sons named Guru and Rantidev. Rantidev is famous in both this world and the next, for he is glorified not only in human society, but also in the society of demigods. Vyadvatasya dadato labhang labhang bubukshataha nishkinchanasya dirasya sakutam basya siddhatam vyatiyor ashta chavar inshad ahan yapi batakela grita payasa sangyavan toyang pratar upastitam krichra prapta kutambasya kshudridyang jatavepava atitir brahmana kale bhoktu kamasya chagamat. Rantidev never endeavored to earn anything. He would enjoy whatever he got by the arrangement of providence. But when guests came, he would give them everything. Thus he underwent considerable suffering along with the members of his family. Indeed, he and his family members shivered for want of food and water. Yet Rantidev always remained sober. Once, after fasting for 48 days, in the morning, Rantidev received some water and some foodstuffs made with milk and ghee. But when he and his family were about to eat, a Brahmana guest arrived. So, responsively, Tasmai sang vyabhajat sonam. Tasmai sang vyabhajat sonam. Adritya shradhayanvitaha. Adritya shradhayanvitaha. Haring sarvatra sangpashyan. Haring sarvatra sangpashyan. Sa bhuktva prayayo dvijaha. Sa bhuktva prayayo dvijaha. Tasmai, unto him, the Brahmana. Sangvyabhajat, after dividing, gave his share. Saha, he, Rantidev. Anam, the food. Adritya, with great respect. Shradaya anvitaha, and with faith. Harim, the Supreme Lord. Sarvatra, everywhere, or in the heart of every living being. Sangpashyan, conceiving. Saha, he. Bhuktva, after eating the food. Prayayo, left that place. Dvija, the Brahmana. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because Rantidev perceived the presence of the Supreme Godhead everywhere and in every living being, he received the guest with faith and respect and gave him a share of the food. The Brahmana guest ate his share and then went away. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Rantidev perceived the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living being, but he never thought that because the Supreme Lord is present in every living being must be God. Nor did he distinguish between one living being and another. He perceived the presence of the Lord both in the Brahmana and in the Chandala. This is the true vision of equality, as confirmed by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad-Gita 5:18. Vidya vinaya sampane brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva shvapakecha pandita samadarshana. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, outcast. A pandit, or learned person, perceives the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living being. Therefore, although it has now become fashionable to give preference to the so-called Daridra Narayan, or poor Narayan, Rantidev had no reason to give preference to any one person. The idea that because Narayan is present in the heart of one who is Daridra or poor, the poor man should be called Daridra Narayan is a wrong conception. By such logic, because the Lord is present within the hearts of the dogs and hogs, the dogs and hogs would also be Narayan. One should not mistakenly think that Rantidev subscribed to this view. Rather, he saw everyone as part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari Sambandhi Vastuna. It is not that everyone is the Supreme Godhead. Such a theory, which is propounded by the Mayavada philosophy, is always misleading, and Rantidev would never have accepted it. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaham Shri Chaitanya Manobhistang Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we're hearing about Maharaj Rantidev. Srimad Bhagavatam is giving many histories and many very the intricacies of the entanglement of material existence. Krishna has created the whole material world, this universe, and glancing over Mother Nature, He made fertile ground for all of us to take birth in this world again and again. And we all have desires, we all have wants and needs, and the pure desire is to love Krishna. The pure want and relationship is with Krishna, but we've given that up somehow or other. You know, one may not imagine how is it possible, like we're hearing, how is it possible that the priest of the demigods could perform such, you know, abominable activity? How is that possible? But we've seen in this world so many hard to believe, just like Hiranyakashipu, the tortures he gave to Prahlad Maharaj. Who would imagine a father, just because the son is believing in God, he'll torture him to that extent? So the sages, since time immemorial, have been trying to, or contemplating, what is the absolute truth, the process of self-realization, and many discussions. We know there are many, many philosophies in this world which could lead one down the wrong path. Many people think that my philosophy is the best philosophy, our guru or our tradition is the authorized, bona fide. Even in many materialistic organizations, everyone wants to be the #1 company, or our company's the best, or we're the best network marketing people. So everyone's competing, constantly competing. So Narada Muni was traveling, he met Narayana Rishi, and this is in the end of the 10th canto description. And the questions were being put as to, because with material senses we may not be able to understand that Krishna or God, the supreme controller, supreme proprietor, he's in everyone's heart, he's in all the atoms, and trying to understand the temporary nature of the body, the temporary nature of this material existence. But if it comes from God, the material world also comes from God. So in that sense, it's eternal. So it's like the person making pottery. He takes the mud, he makes different shapes, different forms. They have their different utilizations for some time. Then after they become useless, they be broken down and back to the earth again. So we have this body which is shaped according to our subtle desires, our mind, our intelligence, our ego, our wants and needs, what to speak of previous activities. Whatever we do, just like a criminal who breaks the law, the consequence is that he's imprisoned or goes to jail. There's consequences for all our activities. So as Krishna, he sees everyone equally. He's kind to everyone. They give the example of the two birds on a tree. One bird is sitting there eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird is witnessing. Krishna's allowing it. Without Krishna's help, you cannot move your arm. Someone has a stroke, the arm becomes paralyzed. It's not within our ability to say that, oh, because, you know, with my own power, with my own strength, I can achieve, you know, we're not the supreme controller, we're not the supreme proprietor. And this example of Rantidev, how he was fixed in God consciousness, how he saw the Lord in everyone's heart. This ego is very strong, because if one is thinking, I'm coming from a good family, I'm a Brahmin, and you know, who is this person? You know, coming from the Shudra existence, or from this race or that race. People want to be dominant. We see many of the wars were based upon, well, if you're not Aryan, or if you're not born in a certain culture or a certain family, then you are not qualified in partaking of the spiritual life. But this is taught throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, that we need to have this vidya vinaya sampane brahmani gavihastani shuni chaiva shvapake cha pandita samadarshana. That one who's intelligent, he sees that there's a spirit soul in every living being. And that spirit soul, that jiva, the atma, is part of the supreme spirit, Krishna. Not that Krishna created it, we've always existed with Krishna. Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist. So Krishna, he's identifying himself in Bhagavad-Gita as a person. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, individual, nor all these kings. We're all individuals. We all have different identifications, different background, different culture. But ultimately, we all want the same thing. We want to be happy, want to be free from fear and anxiety. And we are enveloped, we are covered, we are trapped by illusion, by ignorance, by darkness. And that illusion, that Maya, is Krishna's illusion. Krishna is allowing the Maya to cover, because we have to continue, as long as we don't want to surrender to Krishna, as long as we don't want to identify that Krishna is the supreme Bhoktarang Jagatapasang Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He's the supreme proprietor, the supreme Lord. That he's the supreme Nitya. We're all Nityas. We're all eternals. We're not products of the material world. The body is the product of the material world. But you think about how incredible the body is. If you take off the layers, sometimes for educational purposes, they show you peel back the skin, you see the muscles, all the nervous system, then you see the heart, the liver, the kidney, the stomach, and then the brain, the ears, the mouth, the teeth, nose, eyes. Everything is so scientifically put together that only a person who doesn't have any ability to reflect on how complex and how unique the human form is. Also the animals. And even the little tiny creatures, they have their whole autonomy, the whole system. How Krishna can do that in such a tiny little creature like that. You know, we're so proud we have big 747s flying empty now because everyone's afraid of corona. Because these little bugs, they can maneuver incredibly articulate. And where does intelligence come from? Where does our mind, our thoughts, where the desires come from? So this is the yoga system, is to try to control the mind. Control the senses. Control the senses means to engage the senses in something positive. Just like in school, when someone is bad, when Dharmatma is bad, go stand in the corner, Dharmatma. You know, you're bad. Stand in the corner. Like something they put the child, okay, go stand in the corner because you're being naughty. But ultimately, by having that little punishment, then the child becomes good and is not naughty. Not that Dharmatma was naughty. I'm just giving an example. So we are being taught by Krishna for being naughty in this material world, for being nonsense, and thinking that we can be happy by our own schemes, by our own plans. We're very confident that we know what is best for us. We are very confident that by my intelligence and my articulation of the material world, I will create a situation where I will be happy. But ultimately, everyone is fearful because the fear of death and dying. Someone may foolishly say, I am not afraid of death. Right, doctor? Sometimes people may claim, I am not afraid of death. But immediately, if some person comes in with an automatic weapon, everyone's going to scatter. I remember I was in Los Angeles, 1993. It was 4:30 in the morning, just blew the conch shell, the incense. I was doing the artik for Gaur Nitai there. And a heavy earthquake came. And the building was rocking, all the pillars were breaking, everyone was running and jumping and, you know, catch the deed. But this fear factor is prevalent in everyone. If you know, someone may claim like that, but the fear is because of ignorance, of not having Srila Prabhupada, Abhayacharanavinda, because he surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna, and Krishna is giving full protection. Krishna is saying that you surrender unto me, I'll protect you from all sinful reactions. So sometimes we see in politics, especially in America now, many people have committed some kind of crime, but they're going towards the president, please give me clearance on this, you know, save me from my difficult situation. Sometimes the governor, someone's to be electrocuted or hung. Capital punishment is there for those who are severe criminals. But if the governor says, okay, give it a stay, then you're freed from the reaction. So Krishna, he's saying, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mang namaskarum. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your prayers to me, thus you'll come to me. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. Isn't it? People want to have friendship with powerful people, big people. So Krishna's the biggest, the most powerful. And he's very personal. He's telling that you surrender and I'll give you full protection. But how did this surrender process come? By developing the qualities. Srila Prabhupada, he understood, especially in America, people were totally covered by the modes of ignorance, passion, hardly a glimmer of goodness. But when he arrived on the boat and saw the dim, was in Boston Harbor, and he could see that people have no interest in God consciousness, in spiritual life. So sometimes there's catastrophes, there's earthquakes. My friend from Atlanta, Vedasar, he's from Mayapur. One of his big donors, nice devotee, Indian man, he and his family went to some island for vacation. The kids stayed in the hotel, but they got very close to this one volcano, and the volcano erupted and burned everybody, finished everybody, swallowed them. So Mother Nature, I heard there was a few earthquakes in Delhi as well. especially when Balaram went to Delhi to convince the Kauravas some marriage arrangements were not working out there, and the Kauravas were insulting the Pandavas. How dare they come here? You know, don't they know that we're in charge of this place? And Balaram became very angry, so he was dragging New Delhi into the Ganges. So then they came to their senses and realized that, oh, what are we thinking here? We have to surrender to the Lord. And sometimes there's pandemics, isn't it? Prabhupada throughout Srimad Bhagavatam is describing how these natural catastrophes, the sickness, but this life is just temporary. You know, we may die today or die in 20, 30, 50 years, 100 years. We're all destined. We were just born, practically speaking, and very soon we will die. So the little time that we have, Bhagavatam is giving repeated examples how we should actually see the Lord in everyone's heart, learn to love everyone. Even Rantidev was saying that I only want to, here, you liberate everyone, let me suffer. Just like Vasudev Datta, just like Lord Jesus, just like all great saints, the Tikshava Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehinam, that they develop the qualities of being kind to everyone, being merciful to everyone. In the material world, there's cruelty, there's not kindness. If you see everywhere, Africa, you know, all the different Syria, all the places, there's so much war, pestilence. People are in concentration camps, and you know, no matter how many United Nations we have, the World Health Organization, you know, they think that, oh, we have all the best doctors, all the best scientists, they'll find a vaccine, they'll find a cure, then you can continue with your nonsense life. What is the purpose? Okay, so you may live a few more years, create more bad karma, so then you'll be forced and packed in the womb. Imagine how, as Kali Yuga progresses, how much worse things will get. So we do have a golden opportunity to learn by the example of the exalted personalities in this Srimad Bhagavatam, that doesn't matter if your mother and father abandon you. Brihaspati didn't want to have nothing to do with the child. The mother had nothing to do with the child. And then the Maruts, they helped to raise Bharadvaja. And even though he became also a king, an emperor, so you may think that how can someone who was born in illegitimate connection, it was not, you know, properly scripturally done, the mother didn't want, the father didn't want, was abandoned, but still he achieved, you know, the status of a king. What do people want in this world? Money, women, you know, nadanang, najanang, nasundaring, followers. Everyone wants to be respected and, you know, have some position. Politicians are like the power. Like Lord Krishna, he's the most powerful, the most beautiful, the most opulent, the most renounced, the most famous. So all these qualities, everybody in whatever degraded body they have is trying to achieve that goal. But because of not having the guidance of Guru, Shastra, Sadhu, people are lost in a lost in a lost world, the blind leading the blind. So if someone is blind, cannot see, and you're following, so a person who cannot, if he falls into a ditch or a big hole, everyone falls in who's following. So the Shastra is giving light back to Godhead, where the light is Krishna. Krishna sending Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with Lord Nityananda to give so much blessing, so much mercy. The 6 Goswamis, their eternal associates, they renounced Nadanang, Najanang, Nasundaring. They had everything, anything and everything that people want in this material world, these great personalities had, and they renounced it because they're experiencing a higher taste. Parang drishtva nivartate. So unless we're experiencing a higher taste, when you first read Prabhupada's books, when you first had that feeling that, yes, I'm wasting my life, this is the truth. It makes sense, common sense. Prabhupada mentions again and again, we don't want blind followers or simply some, he even mentions sometimes people go away and we're not hearing, we're not chanting. One devotee was telling me, oh, this devotee is doing so much better now. I said, why is that? He said, well, finally he's reading, he's chanting, and he's doing service. So if we're not hearing Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, if we're not associating with devotees who are serious about spiritual life, then the mind will get the better of us. The mind will propose so many ideas, you know. So much is available for Maya, but so much is also available for Krishna. And if we want Krishna, we have to hear about Krishna. We have to glorify Krishna. We have to develop the qualities of the demigods. And it's described that one who's practicing devotional service by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Powerful medicine. This is the saving mantra at all times, but especially in Kali Yuga, that by taking this medicine, you are cleaning the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. We may not know. We might go to the doctor and he analyzes what is our disease. And he says, Ye dawa, for you. This medicine is for you. Take it 3 times a day, like this, like that. You may not know what is the formulation of the medicine. You may not know how it's working within your body. But you have faith that the doctor is qualified. You know, he underwent the study, the rigor, the training to understand the nature of the disease, and according to their best understanding, they're giving you the knowledge. But here, in the material world, everyone has defects, as we heard the other day. Imperfect senses, tendency of being illusion, making mistakes, and cheating propensity. So Prabhupada would sometimes have an interview with a teacher. He calls them cheaters. If you don't know what is the absolute truth, then why are you claiming to be a teacher? You're a cheater. So this cheating propensity is very prevalent throughout the world. Everyone is cheating because they want money. Everyone is cheating because they want followers, like they're offering something special. And ultimately it leads to sense gratification. And the reason why the devotees are so excited, jumping for joy, dancing ecstatically with Prabhupada, is because they saw that Prabhupada is not here to cheat. He's not interested in sense gratification. He's not interested in the results or the achievements of materialistic pursuit. You know, big factories, big business, you know, so-called powerful, wealthy people. The tiny little creatures. Prabhupada, he's a Vaikuntha man from the spiritual world. All the Goswamis, all the great Guru Parampara, Evang Parampara Praptam Emangra Jarshayo Vidu. Krishna's creating this world. Krishna's giving the Vedas for the purpose of guiding everyone. Krishna's enlightening Lord Brahma. Narada Muni is always getting the nectar and enlightening all the great leaders of society, the teachers. So these instructions are for us. We should hear them attentively. We should regularly make us, if you're not taking your medicine regularly, if you're deviating from the form, there could be a relapse. You may get better for a few moments or a few days, but if you're not careful, if you have say a severe cut, if you don't properly keep it clean and keep putting the medicine and look after it carefully, there could be a relapse, gangrene, and then you got to chop it off. So this material life is that if we're continually taking the contamination of material existence and not taking the medicine, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanavedanam. When Prahlad was asked, what is the best thing you learned? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. I want to hear and chant about Vishnu. Smaranam, remembering, praying, surrendering everything to the Lord. Have faith. Just like a parent, he loves his child, son or daughter. But he makes them go to school, and the child thinks, wow, I don't want to go to school. Why are you forcing me? Because the parent knows that you get a good education. You understand how to survive in this world nicely. Otherwise, you'll suffer your whole time. So Krishna's giving us an education. Take this. You know, tad viri pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnananas tattva darshana. So we approach the real teacher, the real master who is fixed in the absolute truth. They know the process very clearly. They know what is the remedy to our disease. They can help us to control the mind. They can help us control the senses. But we have to take the medicine. If we're not seeing the Lord in everyone's heart, if we're not seeing that this is a part and parcel of the Lord, doesn't matter if his external, brutish or uncivilized behavior, someone may be, you know, obnoxious. We say, oh, this person's obnoxious, you know, you want to stay, but still, the Lord's in their heart, and they're also part of Krishna. So a sadhu, he keeps association with other sadhus. Those who are in seeking knowledge, he gives them mercy, and those who are ignorant and offensive, he keeps his distance. Keep your distance. So a Vaishnava, that one who's keeping the association of Vaishnavas, he's the real smart person. But one who's associating with non-Vaishnavas, those who are materialists, then he is being misled. Isn't it? When Prabhupada describes in the crime of killing the animal, especially the cow, the butcher, the person who gives permission, the person who's transporting, the person who's consuming. There are many people, they're all implicated. So somehow or other we can't avoid it. All our activities in this material world are causing karma. Good karma, bad karma, it's all bad karma. Because we have to take birth again in this world, and we have to suffer repeatedly. So let us take the example of Rantidev and not make, and he was tested. Imagine fasting, how many, 48 days? Huh? 48 days. We can't hardly fast for one day, let alone 48. So, you know, the whole family, he's the king. And everything was prepared with ghee, nice food, and you think, oh, finally. Then somebody comes to you and, oh, okay, I'll give him okay, here, take a portion. Now the family's ready. And then someone else comes. And before you know it, you've given you've fasted for so long, you've given everything away. Okay, at least I have my water. And then someone comes, I'm so thirsty, please give it. Okay, so it's hard for us to believe that or understand that someone could be so detached and so renounced that after such a long fasting period with his whole family, the emperor, And these chandala, or low-class people are coming, but he's giving very freely. So these examples of Srimad Bhagavatam are not some fairy tales or stories. It's because we're ignorant and we're foolish, and we have a tendency of not believing that, oh, yeah, this very interesting story, but not practical, not very practical. But all these are practical lessons, very practical. And as we stay on with Krishna consciousness, we chant the holy name more and more, then we'll stop thinking about, oh, this person's like that, this judgmental mentality. It's not easy to get free of being a judgmental, criticizing, fault-finding. I mean, all the comedians are making fortune just mocking the presidents and mocking the politicians, and this gives people entertainment. Oh, did you hear what so-and-so? No, but you know, it's like the Gramya Katha is very enlivening for a materialist. But one who is pursuing spiritual life, I don't want to hear it. Why do I? It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. The newspapers, you know, stacks and stacks of newspapers killing all these trees just to speak Gramya Katha. Foolish talk amongst ignorant people, and they derive pleasure at criticizing others and finding faults with others. Seeing others suffering, they find happiness. Whereas a Vaishnava, he feels sad that someone is in an awkward, suffering situation. We're not artificially going to pretend we're Vaishnavas, but keep following the process, and that shining golden nature will come through. Right now it's covered over, and the more we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, the better. Sometimes it's just my own thing, you know, if I'm chanting, trying to chant, and I remember like Rukmini asking Krishna come and steal her, you know, take her away from all these rascals, and then I'm envisioning Krishna taking Rukmini, and then the armies are chasing. You know, you're chanting in such a way, or the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna and Krishna going on a battlefield. So the chanting, we're calling out to Krishna, but also we're remembering Krishna, the chivalrous activities of Krishna, the glory, the powerful Krishna. So just keep reading, keep chanting, try to develop these qualities. Even if we don't have them, they will manifest in due course of time. Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? A few minutes. We can always rely on Karbhajana Prabhu. He has good questions.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So as you said that when we are hearing something what we have to do, just like the medicines of the doctor, the prescription is giving we have to take for the cancer. If we avoid one dose, well, I don't want to take this one. He gives me 3 doses, take 3, but one I am avoiding. Will I get all right? I will not be all right. So similarly, we hear everything in the morning that there is Bhagavatam class, there is Bhagavad-Gita class, this thing, we hear everything. But we see the speaker is not very important, whether I should go to this one, or evening the program is not proper. So this mentality, why we have this mentality?
So the way I understand the question is that if we don't follow the prescription as given by the doctor, and we sometimes skip one dose of medicine here, we start kind of taking the medicine according to our own little concoctions. We don't strictly follow the regimen, then there may be a relapse and one will lose. And why is it that we have a formula from Prabhupada, the great acharyas, and many times we see people don't follow, and they kind of mold their day according to how they want. It's just a matter of urgency and importance. If one really understands the depth to which they are contaminated, and you know how deeply I am in ignorance. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I've wasted my youth in pursuit of material education. I've wasted my time, you know, in nonsense activities. So we have to see that I'm in a difficult situation, and if I see my spiritual master as non-different than God, then I will cherish his lessons or his instructions very, very carefully. So I guess it's the degree of one's resolute determination to achieve that determination. We have to pray for one another that we can all have that enthusiasm. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class. So, if Harinam is the most important and the final, and if we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we will get Krishna. So why the varieties of services the acharyas introduced, like nice prasada, nice temple, everything, which creates mode of passion, rajamud, and which is types of hindrance to chanting Krishna's name or Harinam, these things?
It's a good question, very good question. If chanting the holy name is the essence of everything, then why are we, you know, cleaning, cooking, and distributing and running here and there, making members and doing so many other things? All these activities on the absolute platform, if it's serviced, when Srila Prabhupada in the very beginning, some devotees could not come and stay full time, so Prabhupada said, oh, you continue working and you support the temple with your earnings. And the reason why we're having deity worship is to help us control the mind, control the sense, along with chanting the holy name. Because sometimes we've seen examples, in Mayapur there was an example, one devotee was sitting under a hut, he's chanting 128 rounds Prabhupada, he's there, and after a few months he's gone. So this is very scientifically suitable for us, because in this material world we're driven by passion, by the mode of passion and ignorance. So by keeping busy, you know, taking our medicine of chanting the holy name, actually we should be chanting and thinking of Krishna all day long. So that we should be doing, regardless. Whether you're addressing the deity, when you're speaking to someone, you're thinking in a compassionate way how to give them Krishna, how to keep Krishna's house clean, how to make nice, tasteful prasad to offer to Krishna. All the external activities that appear mundane, connected to Krishna, become spiritualized. And because we're not on that Maha-Bhagavat platform where we can sit all day and just be in total meditation, we don't have that capacity. So many other services are available. Krishna doesn't need for us to do anything. He can do everything himself. It's for our benefit. So all these activities are very good, and that enthusiasm to do that, to please the spiritual, is a personal thing. It's not just impersonal, okay, just chant Hare Krishna. But that's also personal, obviously. But by doing these activities and helping others, helps us awaken the devotional qualities. It helps us awaken that compassionate nature which is being described by Rantidev. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.